We are here in Red Wing, Minnesota to help support the Big Turn Music Festival. I got contracted by another sound company. Got our DAS event loudspeaker series, the 208As and the 218As, and some turbo sound monitors, and we'll take a look around. Alright, so this is the church we are in today. Got 2 stacks of 4 over 2 218 subwoofers. Definitely overkill. This room sounds humongous, but we were kind of prepping for quite a few people. You can tell it's a pretty big church. Got Marcus taking the view from the balcony. Hi. Front of house back there. Unfortunately, we kind of wound up with some pretty crummy weather. Blizzard warnings tonight, 4 to 9 inches of snow. Freezing rain, so I think that's keeping some people down, at home and sitting in their hotel rooms or left early. But this is the sanctuary that we're in. I believe seating capacity is like 375, so just to kind of get a kind of an accurate representation of how big the room is. A little bit of a mess right now, just picking up from last night. This is kind of the stage here. Just 3 monitors. We're pretty much just doing drum kits with like a Beta 52 and like a condenser overhead microphone and maybe a snare mic, kind of depending on how they're hitting. A lot of the guys with this bluegrass stuff end up using the little sticks. I forget what they're called. Not like an actual hickory drumstick, but the ones with like the little like little tiny sticks in them. Sound pretty cool in this room. It does not take much to amplify drums. We're really just trying to do the best we can with vocals and stuff. Subsnake. I ended up, because monitors are right here, I ended up just pulling out one of my old analog snakes. So I had some returns and kind of plug stuff in wherever we are. Very, very small stage. I would say it's probably maybe 24 by 12 here in the middle. See out into the church here. We didn't contract lights on this, but the company that did just kind of has some power cans kind of scattered throughout, some uplighting, looks cool on the bricks, and then we're just using some of the front of house lights in the church here. Here's a shot of the sanctuary from up in the balcony. Like I said, it's a pretty big church, very large room, very square. But it does sound very huge with doing very little. Marcus, how'd you think last night went?
I think it went well.
Thought it went well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we re-EQ'd today.
Yes.
That was helpful. Kind of ran into some technical difficulties. One of our S16 stage boxes started malfunctioning. That took a little while to troubleshoot and figure out exactly what it was. But so that was not cool. We'll have to replace that. So there goes some money. Again, it's always money.
That's all right.
Money ain't a thing. As Craig would say, give me boardwalk. This is my first time ever using an SM58. I've never used one before. I can't say I enjoy them. I know that they're like everybody's favorite microphone because they are what they are, but we have Audix OM5s that sound so much better. I'm not going to try and put a multiplication factor on it.
I have to say that having heard the vocalists last night, I'm not impressed.
I'm not partial to them. I bought 4 of them, and the only reason I bought them was because that's what everybody expects. They walk up to a black microphone and they're like, "What in the world is this thing? It's going to sound like trash. It must be cheap." Well, cripes, the OM5s are more expensive than the SM58s, and they work. There's no doubt about that. They're definitely a hotter microphone. Mm-hmm. You have to be close on an OM5 because it's got a pretty narrow inclusion pattern. I'm gonna coin that phrase. But yeah, you got to be on it. You definitely don't have to be as on it on a 58. But I don't like them.
Yeah, I think people should be on the mics anyway.
It sucks when you got a singer that's singing this far away from a microphone and then complains that they can't hear themselves in the monitors. And you got it pegged out front to the point where you're like, on the verge of a squeal. I think we've all been there. I can't say I'm happy with them. The 57, love it. For miking anything. Like that guy had those tablas. I don't remember what they were called. 157, he had 4 of the things kind of spread out on the floor between his legs. and they picked it all up great. We had plenty of gain. That was fine. But and guitar cabs, I love them on guitars. I love them on snare drums. Do whatever with them. It's like the most versatile mic I think in the entire world. But the 58s, I am just not a big fan of. I'm probably gonna get some flack from this by people that are looking, but I don't care.
What do you think about the 2035 that the band used last night?
That was cool. So one of the bands was a bluegrass band, and they were on stage. It was upright bass. He was DI out. Banjo, guitar, acoustic guitar, and a fiddle. Was it 2 vocalists, or was there 3 people singing at different times?
Last night it was just the guy and the girl.
Just the guy and the girl.
Yeah.
So they all kind of just stood around it, and that thing was freaking cool. That sounded awesome for the type of music they were doing. That was called Barbaro. They're from Minneapolis up here. That was a cool experience to see that on stage with the 208s. Sounded crystal clear. Because of this room, it was a little difficult to EQ. You were kind of chasing stuff around, especially because we had about basically a couple of minutes to make sure the thing had a line check, and then it was run with it with very, very short changeovers. So that was a little run and gun. It was very, very dynamic. I mean, there was moments where they were singing where it was like 70 dB or a little less in the room, and then when they got on it and started kind of got on their bicycle to pedal, it was about 94, which I think for something like that is about a perfect dynamic range. But yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
But not a fan of the 58. Not a fan of the 58. So a couple of fun topics. I think we're definitely going to do more of these. One thing I want to do is a truck talk. I think that would be hilarious. It's probably going to have nothing to do with audio, but I think it'd be fun when we're traveling to gigs to do truck talks. I got to get the right camera for it, but...
Oh, so you just set it up in the truck? And
Yeah.
I mean, there's some pretty good conversations
There's some
going
good
there. I was just saying
conversations.
on the way up, we should have some sort of quote board or something, because...
You said something stupid.
I don't
You said
remember
something
what it was,
really stupid.
but I laughed pretty hard at myself.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll probably be doing that sometime. Stay tuned to the channel, subscribe. Gonna try and have more content. I took about a year off from doing content just because we were running gun in life and with the business and stuff, and there just wasn't time to get good stuff. So we're gonna try and do more of that, try and make the time to get some content out and kind of share our experiences. So anyway, stay tuned, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Did it stop?
No, it didn't stop.
Oh shit, well, red didn't stop. What's the next topic? Well, we made it. You can't see my face, but we made it. It's only 10:20. Made it out of there in good time. However, there's that. We said we had like 4 inches already.
That's just a little bit.
Yeah, we're from Minnesota, so a little snow don't scare us. It's a good thing your in-laws are on the way home, because this is bad. This is not good at all.